Hey, super legends, superheroes, and superstars. My name is Dr. Dre, but without the doctor. I'm so happy that you guys are tuned in for another episode, a live episode, and I'm just so excited by my guest today. So we caught up a couple of days ago, and oh man, she's going to be sharing so much value, and we are going to absolutely be spitting fire. So for anyone that's tuned in at the moment, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on LinkedIn. Let me know where you are tuning in from. If you're watching the replay, please put hashtag replay. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to get my guest out here. So I want to say a massive, gigantic, ginormous, huge welcome to Friska Wirya. Did I get that right?
Everybody. Yes, you got it right.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm brilliant. How are you?
I am amazing, absolutely amazing. So firstly, I just want to say thank you for coming on. I've been so excited and I really want to hear about what you do, about change management, also your career journey and how you've built your brand up in such a difficult time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to tell us? Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, do you want to tell us do you want to tell us a little? Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, like the intro said, I'm a change management consultant, coach, and trainer. And often people are like, "What the heck is change? And why do you need to manage it?" So, long story short, I help very large organizations drive, initiate, and finally embed changes to their business. And these changes come in all shapes and sizes. It could be a new operating model, it could be an offshoring program, they could be changing their culture. And I've done many digital transformations. So I've been doing this for nearly a decade. And during that time, I've worked for some of the biggest names in mining, engineering, and technology, driving change efforts that have impacted 23,000 people across 6 of the 7 continents. So Antarctica is the only continent I have not worked in.
That's crazy. And I was thinking that, all right, so you one of those people, I'm going to put people that will go into companies, and if the company is restructuring, are you the one that says, you'll go into the business, you'll, analyze it and think, okay, you might need to get rid of like this department. Is that something that you do, or am I way off?
Those decisions usually have been made, and I make sure that you don't end up on the front page of The Australian, for example, for industrial relations issues, right? So I handle it with empathy, give people the respect and dignity that they deserve, no matter how gut-wrenching the change may be.
Yeah, okay. And how did you get into it? How did it all come about?
So after my MBA, I was living in the US and I cut my teeth in general management consulting because I thought that's what I wanted to do. There was a professor that I looked up to at USC, and I just said, and he'd traveled, the whole world consulting to Fortune 500 companies. And he's like, this is the path that you follow. And so that's what I did for a number of years. But then it just got really boring. And I moved back to Australia in the height of the subprime mortgage fallout. And it was only then change management started to be recognized as a discipline. And it really intrigued me. I mean, it played to my strengths. It's very hands-on. It's the kind of role that doesn't get offshored or outsourced because it very much is a people-to-people discipline. And I took a punt, basically. So I left consulting. I took a 40% pay cut to start from nothing, absolutely nothing, like a shit kicker, like a change analyst, shadowed someone that had decades of experience, that had a PhD in change. And I just worked my way up with unwavering dedication and laser-like focus. And fast forward 7 years later, I was the youngest head of change for the biggest gold miner on the ASX. So a lot of hustle.
Oh man, that's incredible. And I know that when we were talking a couple of days ago, you mentioned that you'd saved millions of dollars for a mining company.
That's right, 170 million.
100 and who? 100 and...
You realize, so I achieve those benefits in the business case that depend on people doing something differently, right? There's no point buying a fancy new system that's supposed to take half the time it does to process something if no one's using the darn thing, if people think it's going to be automated out of a job. So that's just money down the toilet. So I protect the investments a company has already made in deciding to change something. So I make sure it happens.
Yeah. And what do you love most about your role or what you do?
It's not boring. Every client is different. Every change is different. It's not one size fits all, because I like diversity, and that's why I'm still doing this a decade later.
Yeah. All right. And then can you tell us about COVID? Like what happens? So you started your business November before COVID.
Yep.
And then COVID happened. And then, yeah, can you talk us through that?
Yeah, sure. So I decided I was going to try my hand at consulting independently, because I'd spent many years contracting, and always had such great feedback from my clients. And I thought, you know what, if not now, then when? So I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah.
Went for a holiday. So Christmas, New Year, got back mid-Feb. And that's when COVID started bubbling up. And God, what a time to start a business. No one was spending money on no one was spending money full stop, let alone on consultants, which is ironic because it's the most change we've ever seen probably in our lifetimes, but yet they weren't willing to invest in managing it effectively. And so I'd started a few conversations with some prospects, but when the borders shut, it took with it my entire pipeline, because I couldn't travel. People weren't used to engaging someone through Zoom. They wanted their consultants to be face-to-face. And I was staring into a deep black hole of nothing because I was new, didn't qualify for JobKeeper, Job Seeker, or whatever it was. No government assistance, no nothing, no handouts, no safety nets. And so I thought, oh God, what do I do now? So instead of whinging and saying, woe is me, I saw it as an opportunity. People were at home. I mean, what a great advertisement for the importance of managing change effectively. Like this, we've seen this play out on a global scale where it actually impacts people's lives. It impacts mortality rates. And so I just started to go all in on LinkedIn, all in on my personal brand. And less than 18 months later, my following has grown 600%. Now, it's giving back to me, basically. Yeah, it was a good investment of time and effort.
I love that. Just want to say a quick hello to Gary and Meryl for tuning in. And so how did that decision come about that, that LinkedIn was the place to focus on and that you were going to go all in? What was that shift?
Well, first of all, it was very easy to create content from your own living room. I didn't need to get yet another thing, right? I was already on LinkedIn. I was not active at all. And a very good friend of mine, his name's Carl. He's amazing. He's the CEO of Meet Magic. He called me out on my BS, actually. So before I like to write. I'm very much introverted. I like to be behind the scenes. I would publish an article maybe once a month. I'd been doing that for a few years, and I'd written for magazines. And he said to me, you're a change manager, for God's sake. You also have to change. You have to get with the times. Like once a month is not going to cut it. And you write very well, but people don't read articles anymore. Like the content du jour at the time was video. And he goes, I want you to post a video of yourself talking about what you do. And I was like, no. And I just came up with every excuse under the sun. Like, don't know what to say. I don't have the right equipment. It's too expensive, yada, yada, yada. And anyway, he told me the best videos that he gets are when he's just walking down the street, just chatting away about whatever. And he said, look, just do this. Just trust me. Just do it once a week. And if you get nothing after 2 months, I'll shut up and I'll never bother you again. And I was like, done. And then he said, I'm going to check in on you. I was like, damn. So I can't get out of this. Anyway, long story short, 6 weeks later, got my first client. It was the largest university in Australia, the University of Melbourne. They'd found my content on LinkedIn engaging, etc. And it's just spawned since then. And because I used to be of the mindset, like, because I used to post every single day without fail, Monday to Friday, working day. Yeah. And when I saw other people do it, I'm like, oh, it seems spammy, like it seems really spammy. I wasn't used to that. And I can't remember, someone said this to me. So it's only spammy when it's nothing of value. But if you're providing value, people yearn for it, and they expect you to provide that value every day. And so I've taken that to heart and make sure that I don't put out crap. You know, there's so many people that put like, you know, bloody videos of puppies running and stuff like that. Like, no, I don't do that. And I don't do the hard sell either. It's all about value.
Yeah. So one thing that I've noticed, like with you on LinkedIn, is it's always video. So I don't remember too much of your written content. How I perceive it's just video. So when I think of Friska, she's doing video, she's doing interviews, she's doing podcasts, video, and that ties into, you know, the know, the like, and the trust. And like, you're an expert, and like, you've been doing it for 10 years, and you know what you're talking about, and just giving so much value.
Yeah. I don't do written anymore.
Yeah. All right. So if there are people out there that are watching this that were like, oh, I'm too scared to do video, what would be your advice to get them out of their comfort zone?
Every so-called expert started as an amateur. Like, I would have never gotten to my thousands video if I didn't do the first. And it's like riding a bike. Like, the first time you do it, you're going to be terrible. You're going to have your training wheels on. You might fall off. You might bruise yourself, etc. But the more you do it, the better you'll get, and the faster you'll get. So now my videos there. I used to be a super organized planner. I would script word for word what I was going to say. You know, it had to be perfect. It had to be polished. But I don't do that anymore. Now it's just off the cuff. Now it's unscripted. Now it's real. Now it's raw. And my engagement has gone up because of it.
Because
because it's just me. It's just me. Yeah. Like, what you see is what you get, you know, and people respond to that. So just dip your toe in the water. Like, don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared of. Like, you know, the number of times I've had a troll or something, I can count on one hand. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just thinking, can you tell us, do you have like a morning routine or like an evening routine? Are you like a person of like habits? So you're quite disciplined? And
I am disciplined, but I'm not disciplined about morning routine like some people. So I'm not an early riser. I'm more, I would say late morning. So I usually get up about 8:30. Coffee, check emails, read a few pages of a book, exercise, usually Pilates or going out for a walk. And then I'll jump straight into meetings, workshops, creating content, phone calls. So, and then I usually wind down at about 10:30, 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the non-negotiable is at least 7 hours of sleep, coffee for sure, and exercise, and a ton of water. So those are my top 4.
I love that. All right, so I'm just thinking, so with your clients, are there like common sort of problems or trends that you see, or challenges that they have?
Well, the common problem is, they would say it's people problems, right? People aren't responding to them. They're not getting their attention. They're not getting the adoption or the proficiency. And a lot of it boils down to leadership and communication. They're often the 2 biggest factors that really make or break a change. Like, when you think about, especially during COVID, you know, lots of organizations had to adapt how they communicated with their people. So gone are the days of, you know, 3-hour-long town halls where people were bored stiff. Now, instead of the old analogy used to be KISS, as in keep it simple, but now it's MIF-KISS. So make it frequent and keep it simple. So small bite-sized chunks of information really help people process faster, and it helps people to adopt and get on board with your change. So that's a big trend there. And in terms of leadership, I think many leaders, well, especially in the organizations that I've been consulting to, COVID has acted as a bit of a reset. So leaders are getting a lot more real. There's a greater focus on mental health. Like it just makes people more personable when they rock up in a hoodie. There's kids in the background, there's stuff going on, etc. And before, that never used to happen to the same extent as it did now. So, polished and perfect hampers connection. And now people are more connected to their leaders in the organization, and they see them more as real people.
Yeah. All right. So what motivates you and drives you?
I've always been internally motivated and driven. And I think it's because change is only going to happen faster. It's more far-reaching and complex than ever. So really, the ability to change, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your business, it's really what's going to separate the winners from the woeful. And, there are some grounded principles that are just so easy to execute, and it would make life better for a heck of a lot of people.
All right. And if there's anybody out there that wants to work with you, how would they, go about doing that?
Surprise, surprise, LinkedIn. You can send me a DM on LinkedIn. Otherwise, my website is freshbyfriska.com.
Awesome. All right, I'll make sure I put that in the show notes. And what's next for you?
So 2-3 more weeks of delivery, and then a good long break in the middle, as we were talking about before. So I'll share this story then. So off the back of investing in my personal brand, creating content, etc., I've been signed by the largest speakers agency in Europe. So that was very, very exciting off the back of LinkedIn content.
That is amazing. You need to talk a bit more about that. You definitely need to talk a bit more. Just casual, I've just been signed, personal content out on LinkedIn, and like the biggest agency in Europe. They just wanted to sign me, so I signed.
So somebody engaged on one of my posts. I can't remember which one it was, and I won't name names, but she was female. She was also in technology, and something about her comment intrigued me. And I said, "Oh, look," I DM'd her. I said, "Thanks for chatting. Like, look, you're in tech. I'm in tech. Like, you're from my favorite country. Let's have a chat." And she's like, "Great, sure." I'm like, okay. So had a Zoom call with her, and 15 minutes in, she was like, "I love you. Can you please speak at my event?" She goes, and I said, "Oh, okay." She goes, "It's the largest AI event in the world. It's fully remote." And I was like, dang. and she said, "Please say yes. I'll get my event manager to contact you." So I said yes. I said, "Yeah, sure. I'll talk about it." And anyway, I didn't realize that because of the time difference, it's 2 a.m. Sydney time. But I'd already committed, right? I'd already committed. Yeah. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to roll with the punches. So got up at 1:30, tried to put my face on, spoke. And because you're on a high after that, I found it hard to sleep. I didn't sleep till about 4 a.m. And then, starting back at 9 a.m. the next day. Anyway, off the back of that, there was someone in the audience that reached out to me, and this gentleman owns the largest speakers agency in Europe, had a call with him, and he said, how do you get your speaking gigs? And I said, well, they just kind of happen organically. I don't go chasing them because my bread and butter is consulting, but I get asked to deliver workshops, I get asked to speak at conferences, etc., do keynotes. And he said, oh, have you ever thought about, being represented here in Europe? I'm like, no. And he goes, well, how about I represent you? And I said, yes.
That is amazing. And is that part of the reason why you're going to Europe?
Yeah. Yeah. And another one that I should tell you then. I keynoted at Microsoft Indonesia last year at their first ever D&I event off the back of LinkedIn. So you never know who's watching.
This is absolute gold. So where I've picked up is that someone's commented on, say, one of your videos, and you've actually started a conversation, you've engaged,
Yeah.
and then you've jumped on, you know, like a Zoom call, and then that's the key. I think that's the key. That's the opportunity. It's like having conversations, and I believe conversations are the new lead.
Yeah.
Massive congratulations on all of that. And that's, I love that. It's just such a good story from, you know, like thinking that like you're going into that black hole with your business. And then you thought to yourself, okay, I need to figure this out. And then someone's given you the challenge and you're like, right, I'll do it. It's probably not going to work, but I'll do it. And then 6 weeks, you get your first client, and then like the rest is history. And then you've just consistently been putting yourself out there. So
yeah, it's all about consistency, commitment, and community. So building your community. What you just said, like engage with people, like chat to them. You know, like your profile is like the front door of a shop. If people walk in and leave a comment, you don't just ignore them. Like you find out, oh, what intrigued you? Like, what do we have in common? How can I help you?
I love that. All right. So last question. Actually, I'm going to ask you 2 more if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
What books do you read? Like, do you listen to books and podcasts and?
Yeah, I'm currently reading Radical Candor by Amy Scott. So that was a gift to me from an event that I did for Salesforce. So that's about delivering feedback in a kind, non-bullshit way. So I've got that on the go. And other than that, some of my favorite authors are James Clear, Brene Brown, Esther Perel. I absolutely adore Alain de Botton. So I binge on his podcast and his YouTube talks. So they're probably my top 4.
Okay, brilliant. All right, very last question. Is there anything that you'd like to leave, like the audience, the people that are tuned in now, or the people that are going to watch the replay?
Just make a start, no matter how small. Like, you don't need to see the whole entire staircase to take the first step. So just focus on the first step. And if you don't even know how to take the first step, then ask someone, because chances are there is someone in your network that has gone what you are going through and has come out the other side. So find out how they did it.
Mic drop. Somebody call MC Hammer, because you just nailed it. So Friska, I just want to say a massive, huge thank you for giving up your time. Every time we catch up, I love talking to you. You've just got so much value, and I can tell that you're just an incredible, sweet soul that wants to make an impact, or you are making an impact on the world. And I just love your journey. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Dre. Can I say you are the master of one-liners? Like, they crack me up, honestly.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.